So there is an idea in Judaism, but also in Christianity and Islam, and even in Buddhism and Hinduism to some degree, although in a different form. It's the idea that if you live a good life in this world, you'll be rewarded in the next world, in the afterlife. In Christianity, the afterlife is called?
Heaven.
Yeah, it's heaven. Or something else? Oh, yeah, we have the other two. Yes, of course. Yeah. Well, we're talking about the reward part. Yeah, heaven and hell. In Islam, this is the good one, the heaven one, is called Jannah. And in Judaism, it is called Gan Eden, meaning paradise, or literally the Garden of Eden. It's also called Olam Haba, the world to come, but that term can also mean less of a personal afterlife and more of a new era after the coming of Mashiach, the Messiah. But in terms of a personal afterlife, it's easy to see why this idea exists. Its purpose is to motivate you to do the right thing. Watch out. You want to go to heaven or Gan Eden. But there is something very strange and illogical about it, I've noticed. Even if you have no problem believing in the idea of an afterlife. Think about it for a minute. Imagine you lived a good life, you die, and you ascend to the blissful paradise realm. At first, you would probably feel tremendous relief to be finally free from pain and drama and dwell in a world of pure goodness with your loved ones and ancestors who had passed from the world, with as much vanilla ice cream as you want, as they say. That was a joke for Josh, because when we were in high school, we were hanging out downtown, and a missionary was trying to convince Josh to become Christian. And he said, all right, what's your favorite ice cream? And Josh said, well, vanilla. And he said, okay, as much vanilla ice cream as you want. All right, I thought it'd be better to explain it. But after you're eating vanilla ice cream for a long time, or chocolate or whatever, for me it's chocolate, after some time, I think something would begin to gnaw at you. It would first start as a little feeling that something wasn't quite right, and then would grow and grow until it ripens into a question. How can I just dwell here in Gan Eden while there are millions of others still suffering? And as this thought continues to grow, at some point you wouldn't be able to enjoy paradise anymore, and all you would want to do is return to the world of pain. In fact, there is a hint in the Haftarah for Yom Kippur, which I'm about to chant from the book of Isaiah, in which God says, Hachazeh yiyet som evcharehu yom anot adam nafsho. Is this the fast I choose, a day of afflicting one's soul? Now, this term, afflicting one's soul, is an idiom for fasting. And the practice of fasting is a way of transcending your body, transcending earthly life, and being purified from ordinary desires and aversions by letting go of eating for a short time. There is also the practice of wearing white on Yom Kippur, not only signifying inner purity, but also the burial shroud. Again, a symbol of leaving this earthly life. But in the text, God is questioning all of this. Halo ze tzom evcharehu, pateach char tzubot resha. Rather, the fast I choose is to loosen the chains of wickedness, to let the oppressed go free, to share your bread with the hungry, to clothe the naked, and so on. In other words, the purpose of spirituality is not only to transcend this world of pain, but also to live within it in such a way so as to bring relief to others in this world. And to make it more clear, on one hand, God is described as Ram V'Nisa, the high and lofty one, and then Shochen Ad, dwelling in eternity. But on the other hand, God dwells with Daka U'Shafal Ruach, the contrite and lowly of spirit. And so the choice to leave paradise and help those suffering in this world is not just what God wants, but what God is. The Haftarah is defining that this is God, beyond, transcendent, beyond everything, and yet here in the ordinary, in the suffering. I think this is actually the rhythm and purpose of spirituality. On one hand, to free us from the bonds of negativity and ego and enter the inner paradise. But on the other hand, spiritual bliss is not an end in itself, but an inner wellspring from which we can come back to this world of pain and be forces of healing. But nowadays, I think we're not in so much danger of being addicted to spiritual bliss. Even with the fact that we're in California. Maybe in the 90s. Maybe in the 80s. Maybe in the 60s, yeah, definitely in the 60s. But nowadays we seem to have the opposite problem. We seem to be addicted to pain and suffering. And ironically, it is because there is real pain and suffering that we create more of it by blaming the real pain and suffering on those we don't agree with. This is the problem of polarization, which I spoke about on Rosh Hashanah. The impulse to demonize those with whom we disagree because we're so committed to our own opinions that those with different opinions must be evil. How do we solve this? While it's true that spirituality and meditation can be misused, its power to help us access the inner paradise is not just for the sake of personal experience. Because when we transcend our identification with our thoughts and our feelings and our opinions, also called ego, we reach the level of our being that we all have in common. So while our opinions tend to divide us, that's actually okay. That's a good thing if we are rooted in the deeper reality that unites us. The field of consciousness within which our thoughts and feelings and opinions arise and also sometimes change and also sometimes fall away. Because at this level, there is a new possibility that perhaps we can learn to truly listen to one another. Our opinions might persist. We may or may not change our minds. But maybe there's something we can learn. Maybe our point of view is incomplete, and we need to hear the genuine concerns of the other in order to begin healing the deep polarization and aggressive negativity that we are experiencing in these times. And perhaps, if we can heal this divide in our families, in our communities, and among our friends, perhaps we can then participate in a movement of transformation and peace in the world as well, based not on demonization and slogans, but on wisdom and empathy. Now comes the rabbi part. So in this spirit, this is for you. I encourage you in this new year to deepen your spiritual life, not only for your own sake, but for awakening deep listening and empathy for others. There are so many gateways to paradise that Judaism offers if they are practiced in the right spirit. For example, invoking awe and gratitude with daily blessings and prayers, nourishing your mind with Torah learning, and stepping into the timeless with the weekly practice of Shabbat. What do you want from me? I'm a rabbi now. I have to say these things. I'm addicted to saying these things. You've already taken the first step. You've taken lots of first steps. May this step of coming together on this Yom HaKippurim bring you deeper connection on this sacred journey, and may it be we should all be strengthened in our steps.